morning, sports fans. Ben's Hang-Ups here. Well, it's August 1st. Kind of cloudy today. Chance of rain. And we are headed south. We got about a 350 to 400 mile trip here. We're going to Williamstown, Ohio. I'm sorry, Williamstown, Kentucky. That's right. Williamstown, Kentucky. As long as we don't get a flood, 40 days of rain or whatever, we'll be just fine. Sports fans, hang in there. See you down the road. Well, this is where you buy your tickets and you catch your shuttle for the 1 mile ride back to this. Can you tell where I'm at? Well, can you tell where I'm at? Guess we're expecting a flood because I'm going to go on the ark. You can see that back there. Well, if you're so inclined, you can buy a ticket. Not much smaller than a cruise. And ride the zip lines around this place. See when we get closer. This big building is several things, including a theater, a very large theater. I didn't get tickets for that. Maybe next time. So how big is this thing, you ask? Well, I'm going to tell you. It's 510 feet long. It's 85 feet wide and 51 feet high. That's a big boy. It had to be big and it had to be strong and housed thousands of animals, creatures, and the Noah family, of course. And although the rains lasted 40 days and 40 nights, the flood itself actually lasted about a year. The inspiration for the project began with the founder's desire to create a family-friendly attraction that would encourage people to reconsider the Bible relevance in today's age. The now completed structure of the Noah's Ark in Williamstown, Kentucky, took just over a year and a half to build and is considered the largest freestanding timber frame structure in the world, the total of 3.1 million board feet of timber used in its construction. A football field and a half long, the volume of the ark is equivalent to 500 standard semi-truck trailers and features 3 levels of exhibits with a 600-seat restaurant. The ark's minimum capacity is 10,000 people. I'm sorry, the maximum is 10,000 people. However, organizers plan to limit it to 3,000 inside at a time. Although this is a replica of the Ark, you have to take into account that people are visiting, and so like this you have that almost Disney World feel when you enter. But they have to, or had to, make changes so that people could visit safely. And this here, right here, shows you some of the ways feed was stored. Also the animals. I believe this is the bird section. This is where a lot of the birds would be stored. They had to be fed daily, watered. You'll see some of the storage here. This is Noah reciting Noah's prayer. It's interesting that the architects, they got to to build this is a Troyer Group out of Indiana. And they had built the Countryside Farmers Market in Elkhart, the world's largest wood peg barn in the country. So that's how they chose the group. You can see here how they store fed and animals and so far, reptiles. Colorado Timber Frame was awarded a contract and immediately got to work. With 1.5 million board feet of heavy timbers required for the construction of the timber frame itself, each individual timber element needed to be sized precisely. They had to add staff. Because they ended up running 3 shifts and working 24 hours a day, 6 days a week for about a year. But they got it done. All of the square cut timber used inside the ark are Douglas fir, harvested and milled in Oregon, Washington, British Columbia, Canada. All in all, there were 120 semi-trailer loads of timber. You ready for this one? Construction facts. The ark weighs 31,600,000 pounds. That's 15,800 tons. The fire exits are rated to handle up to 10,000 people. 5,000 sheets of drawing of every aspect of the structure. The parking lot holds 4,000 cars. A 600-seat restaurant is under construction on the roof. 15,150 sheets of plywood. 290,000 board feet of bamboo flooring. 67,467 drilled holes in beams, 95 tons of steel plates and connectors, 3.1 million board feet of timber used in the structure, 5,434 heavy timber beams, 300,000 screws, and 50,000 peg bolts. That's not a bad list. This would be the bow of the ship. Well, actually, it didn't have a bow and an aft, but this would be the front of the ship. This tells you a little bit about the construction. How long it took to build. These are estimates, of course. Likely views, 75 years. This is completely wheelchair accessible. There are ramps going up and down. Not graded, the ramps aren't graded high, so not that hard to push. And there are exhibits on every floor. Of course, there's a gift shop and eating places. More refreshment places as you go. It's a big place, so there's a lot of room. Some of the little exhibits can get a little crowded. And after they had entered, the Lord shut the door. Noah's wife is one of the more overlooked characters in the Bible, considering every one of us contains some of her DNA. What do we know about her and what she looked like? Well, we know she was a wife, was old enough to have 3 grown children, and she's an ancestor of every person on earth. She probably had a mixture of traits that some might associate with race, so it is likely she was neither particularly pale nor dark. As you go through the ark, there are exhibits kind of a history of the world and leading up to about where we are today. We do know that Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and that they helped in the building of the ark. Favorable in the eyes of God, they were part of the inhabitants of the ark. Noah, being a righteous man, turned away from evil. And so God chose Noah and his family to survive. This display shows the workshops in the ark. This being the steel, metal shop, this being the wood shop. Now Noah had skills in both these areas and taught his sons each to have specific skills. This area is the chart area and the scroll area. Every animal was registered. Everything brought aboard was registered.
The generations that followed grew extremely corrupt and violent. The world became such a dreadful place.
There are displays on how they believe the ship might have worked, how water was obtained and continually kept filled. How sewage and so forth was dispersed. And quite a few displays of caged animals. It is thought that maybe all the animals that boarded the ark 2 by 2, were very young, and then as such weren't full-sized. This limited, of course, because of space, the younger animals weren't as big. That helped out. There are 2 theaters on board on 2 different decks that give video presentations. And then outside the ship there's a bigger theater. These displays continue in the history of the mankind. Starting with Adam and Eve. And the evils of the world, which brought on the big flood. worshiping false idols. This was storage above the workshops. Food storage and growing their own food aboard. After sending out a raven, Noah sent out a dove to see if there was any dry ground, but it came back having found nowhere to perch. After 7 days, Noah sent it back out, and when it came back, it had a fresh olive leaf in its mouth. And Noah knew that ground was drying. Genesis 8:6-12. These displays are tracing Christianity through the world and how it spread. Right up to the modern day. I like this view because it gives you some idea of the construction and the size of the timbers used in the construction. Well, we got out of there, and this is a new building here that houses a restaurant and several other shops. This shot here just gives you an idea of the size of this thing. So that's the Ark, folks. Big place. On a zip line, I got that here too. Restaurants, eating places, a lot of restrooms, beautiful gardens around here. Then we're gonna venture into the lobby here. On the way back to the bus, should be a visitor center. So we're going to take a look. Places to eat. Get something to drink. Might do that before I leave. Then go get the long bus line. So we're going to go out here and catch the bus back to the parking lot. That line's not too bad. Hi. Just any minute now. That was Noah's Ark. And now what I think of it, well, very interesting. Something to see. I gotta tell you, you should stop to see it if you've never seen it. But I make a recommendation. Don't do it while the kids are out of school. Wait till after the kids go back. And then you might wait till it gets a little cooler. Because this is a Monday. And I'm saying probably had 4,000 to 5,000 people. Well, maybe 3,000 to 5,000. But I can tell you, they told me that yesterday on a Sunday, they had 9,000 people go through here. Way too many. It's just wall-to-wall people. There are too many people today. Way too many. Not my cup of tea. Not at all. As you know, I kind of like it when there's nobody around. It's easier to film. I couldn't film in there much. It was film the way you want to film. It's too difficult. You surely can't talk any into the camera at all. So it's a tough way to go. But you come here when the kids are out of school and it's a little cooler. And I've been here where there are maybe 10, 15, 20 cars here, and that's all it's here. And that's really, really nice. And you can spend some time with all the exhibits and everything that's in there. Very, very interesting. So I recommend it highly right now. I think it's time, sports fans, that I head back on down the road.